Why the Bee Gees broke up. The Gibb brothers never really got on. They had too many fallings out. They would blame each other for failures. Yet their business relationship was solid. After all, the Bee Gees reached dizzying heights. How did it work and why did it collapse? Barry, Maurice, and Robin formed their first band in 1955. It was a skiffle band called the Rattlesnakes. For the next 10+ years, they changed many names. By 1967, the Gibbs Harmonies had begun to take form. They formed Wee Johnny Hayes and the Blue Cats. Barry was Johnny Hayes. Then the family immigrated to Australia. They were picked up by promoter Bill Good. Soon they had a record deal as the Bee Gees. This was their first success. Yet it immediately threatened to bring about a breakup. In 1969, Robin left the group. He felt that their new manager favored Barry as the front man. In 2020, Barry recalled,
"Before we ever became famous were the best times of our lives. There was no competition. It didn't matter who sang what. When we had our first #1, Massachusetts, Robin sang the lead, and I don't think he ever got past that. He never felt that anyone else should sing lead after that. And that was not the nature of the group. We all brought songs in, whoever brings the idea in sings the song."
Barry and Maurice continued to perform. They brought in another band member, Colin Peterson. Then Colin was fired from the band, and Maurice decided to go solo. Meanwhile, Robin released Robin's Reign in 1970. The album sold well in Germany, but otherwise went unnoticed. Maurice shelved his ideas for a solo career. In 1970, the band reformed.
"I remember lots of intense arguments, not speaking to each other for weeks, and then coming back together again."
Barry recalled in 2017.
"It doesn't stop you being brothers. We broke up in 1969, and yet my brothers came to my wedding in 1970. And we started talking again, and suddenly, we were back in the studio."
This was the beginning of the Bee Gees' disco era. It made them global superstars. However, there was still friction in the group. They set some new rules to avoid sibling rivalry.
"Everything had to be unanimous,"
Barry said.
"If one of us was unhappy about anything, we wouldn't do it."
This approach proved useful. The band continued to perform for decades. But in 2003, Maurice Gibb died at the age of 53.
"Maurice was gone in 2 days, and we weren't getting on very well,"
Barry said.
"Robin and I functioned musically, but we never functioned in any other way. We were brothers, but we weren't really friends."
Robin was keen to continue the band as a duo, but Barry said no.
"We can't just keep forcing ourselves on everyone, saying we're the Bee Gees without Mo." He was very hyper about it, wanting us to remain the Bee Gees. I think he might have known that he was ill at least a couple of years before it became very serious. And I think spiritually, he didn't want to become an invalid. He just never wanted to be recognized as someone who had something wrong with him. So he hid it from me anyway. And when I finally discovered what was wrong, I understood why he was so hyper, why he wanted to keep going, no matter what. I understood it then.
Robin Gibb died of colorectal cancer in 2012, aged 62. Barry Gibb is 77 and continues to release music.